Hey guys, welcome to this trip report of my flight from Singapore to Los Angeles via Tokyo Narita Airport on the Singapore Airlines Airbus A380 today. So obviously we'll be starting our journey at Singapore's Changi airport, and if you haven't been there, it is an absolutely fantastic airport, and it is actually rated the best airport in the world for good reason. The decor is fantastic, it's so modern, the lines move very quickly, and security is actually done at each gate, so it makes it a much quicker and more enjoyable experience. So we'll be flying the A380 today. So we are seated in economy class, obviously. But on the A380, the Singapore Airlines A380, you're going to find three classes, those classes being suites class. There are 12 of those located at the front of the lower deck. Then there's going to be, you're going to see 60 business class seats on the upper deck. And finally, where we'll be sitting in economy, there are 399 economy seats in total on board the Singapore Airlines A380. So suites class, you're looking at about $16,000 to $20,000 depending on your flight round trip. But either way, economy is still an absolutely fantastic experience on Singapore Airlines. And if you have to fly economy, long haul, Singapore Airlines is the way to do it. So I have a window seat booked just behind the wing. So here we are on board the aircraft. It's a 3-4-3 seating. It's a very nice product. The seat's really comfortable. Singapore Airlines is one of the world's best airlines, and it's definitely shown through my 3 flights I've had with them. So the A380 is a very quiet aircraft, and it's just a dream to fly on. I'm a big Boeing fan, but the A380 is actually really incredible. So you have a 10.1-inch personal TV in front of you with a Quizworld entertainment system, which I'll be demonstrating later on in this trip report. But it's a great entertainment system with a lot of entertainment options. Now, you do get menus in Singapore Airlines with your meal choices for the flights, even in economy, which is really nice. It just feels a lot more premium, I guess, having a menu in front of you. So, yeah, that's definitely a plus. So here's the takeoff from Singapore, which I'll just let you watch. Takeoff is actually really quiet compared to, say, the Boeing 777, which is really loud, but as an aviation geek, it's still a really enjoyable experience. So right after takeoff, well, be the bar service with your choice of drinks, pretty standard. So I watched Philomena on this flight, which is a really excellent movie, and I'm not going to talk about it because this isn't what the video is about, but I really recommend checking that movie out. So the first meal service was chicken, and it was fantastic. It's probably the best meal I've had on a plane, like especially considering it was economy. So it all tasted really fresh, didn't have any issues. I got my choice of meal on every flight with Singapore Airlines. So here's a quick demonstration of the entertainment system in economy. So this was actually taken on a 777-300ER, just a day prior to the flight actually. So I just thought I'd stick it in here. They're the exact same on both aircraft at the moment. So there's a lot of movie choices on Singapore Airlines, TV shows. The entertainment system is really fast and responsive. It's not a touch screen, but it is a remote, which I actually prefer. It's nice not having to reach all the way to the all the way across to the entertainment system. The remote's a much more convenient option, I find. So as you can see, there's a very large variety of different movies for you to watch, along with music and games. I personally didn't play any games, but I did watch Philomena on this flight, as I mentioned, which is a great movie. So as you can see in the top left, it displays the time to your destination. In this case, Hong Kong. We're obviously not flying Hong Kong, missed your purport. And you can actually plug in your laptop and look at files from your laptop on the screen. So maybe you're just coming back from a trip and you want to look at some of your pictures on a larger screen if you're putting it in from a phone or a tablet. Then of course you have your flight path option. So you can just see where you're going. It's a pretty standard map compared to what other airlines offer. Unfortunately, on the Singapore Airlines A380, there is no tail camera, which every other A380 operator offers, which is kind of unfortunate because the tail camera is super cool. It gives you a great view of what's going on outside the aircraft. Emirates, in fact, has about 4 camera views on their A380s just for comparison purposes. There's the photo viewer I mentioned earlier, so it's really convenient to be able to play your files on here if you have your own movies you want to watch or whatever. So all in all, a great entertainment system. And you're also going to find a very convenient USB port to charge your devices, which is pretty standard on long-haul aircraft these days, and there's a power plug located below these seats. That's just a quick look at some of the amenities offered aboard the aircraft: a pillow, blanket, which isn't pictured, and a Givenchy amenity kit with a toothbrush, and yeah. So this is a landing in Tokyo with a beautiful sunset. I did not really to film too much on this leg. It was a like 7-hour-ish day flight. I just watched a movie and it's economy, so there's not too much going on. But it was still a really enjoyable flight for the first leg. It was really beautiful landing into Tokyo with the sun setting, as you saw in the picture. And the A380 is like really graceful. It feels like you're just floating through the air, which I guess you are. But it's a very wonderful aircraft to fly on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please ensure that your seatbelt is totally fastened for landing. Thank you. 皆様、当機まもなく着陸いたします。シートベルトをもう一度お確かめください。
Now we have about 1 hour in Tokyo, and you have to clear a stopover security checkpoint, which is really quick and efficient in Japan, obviously. So there's just a quick picture of our aircraft as it's being loaded up before the flight to Los Angeles, and just a view of the nose there. So really quick stopover in Tokyo, didn't have time to grab food or anything. we were actually delayed in Singapore, which I didn't mention, by 2 hours because of a mechanical issue with the airplane. So we got into Tokyo pretty late, so they were pushing us through pretty fast to get back on the plane to make up time to get into Los Angeles. And we were actually delayed to get on the ground in Los Angeles by Air Force One, which I'll talk about later.
When leaving the aircraft,
So here's just a quick video of the boarding. I removed the original audio because it was really not a good quality. And I'm sorry, this isn't the best boarding video in the world. I was trying not to make it too obvious I was filming, so the camera was just kind of hanging around my neck. And I just didn't really mention this earlier, but I want to say how fantastic the service on Singapore Airlines is. Like, when interacting with the cabin crew, like, they're really genuine. It's not fake or anything, and the service was so much better than on Cathay Pacific, which I flew quite recently, and I was really disappointed with Cathay Pacific. I was expecting a lot more from them based on what I heard. So just, yeah, props to Singapore Airlines. Feels really classy flying on them, especially compared to today's visions of air travel, which a lot of people dread flying nowadays, but Singapore Airlines makes it really enjoyable. Now, just something I noted getting on the flight from Tokyo to Los Angeles was how many more Americans were actually on the flight. I guess Japan's pretty popular with American vacationers, I don't know. But there was a lot more white people, like just white people in general, I guess, on that flight. So we're back on board here, and it's another pretty quick flight to Los Angeles, actually, across the Pacific, only about 9 hours. I started my second movie here, which was 3 Days to Kill, which was a really bad movie. And bar service again with ginger ale and peanuts. Once again, service is really fantastic. Never had an issue with service on Singapore Airlines. So a very quick meal, it was chicken again. It was prepared a bit differently, but I do wish there was maybe a bit more variety with the dishes. I know it's economy and all, still. And then to follow, there was a nice coffee and tea service, and I actually managed to sleep for a few hours. So this part of the flight wasn't that exciting either. So a nice breakfast with just some pancakes, which was good. And here's the landing in Los Angeles, which was really smooth compared to our landing in Tokyo, as you saw. closer. I'm not sure. So I got to see it take off from the window. I didn't get my camera in time because I was just kind of in awe of seeing Air Force One for the first time. So that was a really cool experience for me, even though we were delayed again and we had to run to make our connecting flight, but that's a different story. So this is almost the end of the trip report. I really appreciate you watching, and any helpful feedback would be appreciated in the comments, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos to come regarding aviation and travel. Thanks!
The temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. You may use your mobile phones and tablets now. However, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is turned off.